The first thing Elias Rowan noticed was the silence, the kind that comes right after laughter fades and people pretend nothing happened. It wrapped around him like a cold draft inside the bright, glass-walled car dealership. His hand rested on the glossy black hood of a sedan he had admired online for months, but now his fingers trembled, not from excitement, but from humiliation. He could still hear the words echoing. "Sir, I don't think this model is really within your range." They hadn't shouted, they hadn't needed to, the tone alone had done the damage. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and comment where you're watching from. Your support helps us keep spreading hope. Elias swallowed hard and stepped back, his reflection staring at him from the polished surface of the car. A tired man in a slightly worn white shirt, sleeves rolled up, hair unkempt from a long night's drive. He looked out of place among the tailored suits and confident smiles. He knew that. He always did. Across the showroom, a young saleswoman named Maribel Crane stood frozen. She hadn't been the one who spoke those words, but she hadn't stopped them either. She had seen the exchange from a distance, the raised eyebrow of her senior colleague, the smirk, the subtle shake of the head that told Elias exactly where he ranked in their eyes. Not worth the time. Elias cleared his throat. "Thank you," he said quietly, nodding as if the visit had gone exactly as planned. "I'll think about it." He turned and walked toward the exit, each step heavier than the last. No one stopped him. No one apologized. The automatic door slid open, and the city noise rushed in, swallowing him whole. Maribel watched him go, something tight twisting in her chest. She told herself she was overreacting. Dealerships were competitive places. People were judged quickly. Clothes, posture, confidence. These were the unspoken currencies. Still, the look on the man's face lingered with her long after he disappeared down the sidewalk. Not anger, not even bitterness, just quiet shame. That night, Maribel couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the moment in her mind, wondering why she hadn't spoken up. She had joined the dealership believing she could succeed without losing her humanity, but days like this made that belief feel fragile. Before bed, she scrolled through her company email and noticed a message marked urgent, all staff. It mentioned an upcoming visit from a private investor connected to a major acquisition. The name wasn't disclosed. Only one line stood out: professionalism and courtesy will be closely observed. Maribel frowned, unease settling in her stomach. The next morning, the dealership buzzed with nervous energy. Suits were sharper, smiles wider, coffee refilled more often than usual. Managers whispered in corners, rehearsing greetings and pitches. Maribel adjusted her blazer and tried to calm her racing thoughts when a sleek black sedan rolled into the lot. It wasn't flashy, no entourage, just one man stepping out calmly, closing the door with care. Her breath caught. It was him, Elias Rowan. Except today he looked different, not in wealth or show but in presence. His shirt was pressed, his posture steady, his expression composed. He didn't rush or hesitate. He walked in as if he belonged there, as if the space itself recognized him. The room seemed to pause. The general manager hurried forward, his tone suddenly warm, almost reverent. "Mr. Rowan, we're honored you could make it." Maribel's heart pounded. Investor, acquisition, Rowan. Elias nodded politely. "Thank you for having me." As introductions flew around, realization hit her like a wave. This was the man they had dismissed yesterday, the man they had quietly judged and gently pushed out the door, the man who now owned the power to change everything. Elias was escorted into the conference room, but before the doors closed, his eyes swept the showroom and found Maribel. Recognition flickered. Not triumph. Not resentment. Just recognition. Later that morning, Maribel was summoned to assist with the investor tour. Her hands shook as she walked beside Elias, pointing out features, answering questions. He listened attentively, asking thoughtful things, not about profit alone, but about employee turnover, customer trust, long-term values. Finally, when they were alone near the service bay, he stopped. "Can I ask you something?" he said gently. Maribel nodded, bracing herself. "Yesterday," Elias continued, "you saw what happened. Why didn't you say anything?" The question wasn't sharp. It wasn't a trap. It was honest. Maribel swallowed. "I was afraid," she admitted. "Afraid of stepping out of line, afraid of losing my job, and afraid I was wrong." Elias studied her for a moment, then smiled softly. "Thank you for telling the truth." He looked around the dealership, the gleaming floors, the posters promising excellence. "You know," he said, "I grew up watching my father fix cars in a small garage behind our house, grease under his nails. Customers who trusted him because he treated them like people, not wallets. I didn't dress the part yesterday because I wasn't trying to prove anything. I just wanted to buy a car." Maribel felt tears sting her eyes. "I came back today," Elias continued, "not to embarrass anyone, but to understand. Because how we treat people when we think no one important is watching, that's who we really are." That afternoon, the staff gathered. Elias stood at the front, calm and steady. He spoke about respect, about the cost of arrogance, about opportunity built on kindness. He didn't name names. He didn't shame anyone. But everyone understood. Changes were announced, not just in leadership, but in culture. Training programs, new values, a renewed focus on dignity over deals. Before leaving, Elias approached Maribel once more. "I hope you'll stay," he said. "This place needs voices like yours." She smiled through tears. "Thank you for coming back." Elias paused at the door, sunlight spilling in behind him. "Thank you," he replied, "for reminding me that hope doesn't disappear just because it's ignored." As his car pulled away, Maribel stood taller than she ever had before. The dealership felt different now, not perfect but awake, and somewhere between yesterday's humiliation and today's revelation, a quiet truth had been restored. Kindness always finds its way back.